So there are two ways they will recruit. One is, yes, from the this thing recruitment agencies, and very rarely direct
Some X
recruitment.
amount,
Okay.
roughly some X amount MD person is earning, for example, in Bangalore. Then if he applies and gets a job
Hmm.
in Kuwait, then how many multiples he
Hmm.
can expect or percentage or what is medicine? What about family
For
medicine,
example,
pulmonology? Do they have a chance there? Like,
yes, family medicine, pulmonology, interventional radiology.
hello, this is Dr. Dheeraj Masapu. I'm a consultant anesthesiologist specialized in neuroanesthesiology. And today we have a very special guest who is my MBBS batchmate and a very close friend, Dr. Ravish. Welcome to the channel, Ravish. I would like to introduce Dr. Ravish. We both are actually, not only MBBS batchmates, we both were table tennis college team players. He is the captain and player. We represented our college. We even won many, trophies for the college. And later on, both of us did MD anesthesia in the same year. And after that, we took different ways. He went into intensive care medicine, and he led a big corporate hospital, intensive care unit in Bangalore. He worked for a significant time, and later on, he shifted to Kuwait. Now he is working as a ECMO consultant in a closed ICU, in a multidisciplinary ICU in Kuwait. So why I wanted Dr. Ravish to talk in this interview is he worked in both parts of the world. So he worked as a head of ICU in India, and then he knows how the system works. And then he shifted to Kuwait. He is working in intensive care there. So my question is, so how do you feel? How different it is to work in ICUs in India and ICUs in Kuwait?
With respect to work timings in India, actually there are no work timings in India. You are expected to work anytime, how much ever time you can, but you know,
Yeah,
you're fully into work. There's a lot of work to be done,
yeah,
considering it is India.
yeah.
That is why. On an average, while working in India, I used to work about 16 hours a day, and in the night also, I used to be
Yeah,
on call. Okay, I used to receive multiple phone calls. So working 16 hours in the ICU as well as being in thing on call overnight did take its toll, but realization of it happened a lot later. You know, initially it's that challenge that you like. Okay, the adrenaline rush that you like. You're heading a unit. You need to make sure that you provide service quality of service. So that way, working towards it. After a certain period of time is when I realized that okay, I've been working for this long and these many hours. So there were multiple other factors which actually took its. I mean, made me change my decision to go abroad, and the place I chose was Kuwait. Regarding work culture in India, it's good. The work culture in India is good. Indian doctors are very dedicated, and that dedication is also appreciated in a place like Kuwait, where Indian doctors are most preferred compared to any other doctor from any other part of the one thing I would like to say is that because of the large number of cases, be it in private or public sector of India that we see, our training is more fully formed. We are more dedicated because I would say why I would say dedicated is because there is no other option. You have to do and finish your work. Okay, more so in private sector because over there quality matters. How you deliver your service matters. Okay, and more importantly, we are working in ICU, so it's a very high stress environment, and if you don't deliver the quality, you can see it right in front of you what happens.
Hmm.
Okay, so that way everything matters. You need to be updated. You need to make sure that you take patients cost on patient into consideration, and then work it out in such a way that you deliver the best medical care in the most economical form possible.
Got it.
Okay. So that way, you have to take several aspects into consideration. So, yeah, and most importantly, in India, it is individual sponsor, that is patient sponsored treatment. Okay, and though insurance everything is there, there's a limit to it. Okay, limit maybe 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, or even 25 lakhs. So there's a limit to the kind of treatment a person can receive, and based on which you sort of tailor your treatment in such a way that you you try to reduce the burden on the patient financially as much as possible while trying to achieve as best medical result as possible. Whereas in Kuwait, if you see, your timings is fixed.
Hmm.
After your work timings, you don't receive calls. Okay, except if you're on call,
Yeah.
you don't even get a single call. I tell you, usually when I came, you see the work timings over here is from morning 7 o'clock to afternoon 2 o'clock. Okay,
Hmm.
and so yeah, it's a bit early, but I stay close to the hospital, so it is easier for me to travel. Getting up early in the morning was a little difficult initially, but it's not an undoable job, you know that. But the thing is, after 2 o'clock, I didn't know what to do because I was too free.
It's like it must be a half day for you.
Ah, exactly, exactly. I did not know how to what to do in the rest of the timings. So it was like that. But it was a welcome change because uh, after that you could actually plan. Let's say in India, when I used to work, everything else would come after my ICU work. And if I had to do anything of my personal work, I had to take leave. I have to take a leave to do my bank job. I have to take leave if I have to go and attend my children's school the requirements. If I had to take leave, if I had to go out somewhere. Over here, because there's a 5 day work week and there's a fixed timing, 7 to 2 for me. So after 2 o'clock, I'm free to do whatever the hell I want to do. And so I'm able to give time to my family. I'm able to give time to my children, and I'm actually able to see some movies. I got to catch up on movies from God knows when. Whereas over here in Kuwait, the facilities are not an issue. It is
Hmm.
like this: you're given a Ferrari car,
Hmm.
okay, and you're asked to drive however you want to. And if you're a driver competent enough, you will drive it the way it should be driven.
Okay,
It
got
is
it.
like that.
Got it.
Okay, so in Kuwait, I'm not telling that all the facilities, 100% of the facilities are provided, but most of them are provided, and I've learned a lot after coming over here regarding many things. For example, over here we use cell savers,
Hmm.
okay, quite frequently. Uh, and since I came here during the COVID time, we were actually putting ECMOs, like as if we are putting patients on dialysis. At one
Hmm.
point of time, we had about 12 ECMOs running simultaneously. Okay, so that way, and our center is sort of specialized in obstetric ECMOs.
Oh, obstetric ECMO. So obstetric
Yeah, yeah.
going into
ECMOs on
ARDS.
pregnant ladies.
Okay.
Pregnant ladies.
Oh, got it, got
Okay.
it.
So like that, we even have a paper regarding that.
Got it.
Okay.
Understood. India is
So
coming
like
up in
that.
ECMO in some centers. Not in every center. Some
Mm.
centers are coming up with ECMOs.
Mm. No, right now ECMOs are catching up
Catching up in
that way.
India also, yeah.
Regarding what I would say is that job culture in India is good, but it's very stressful.
Hmm.
Okay, and there are no, let's say, constraints on work timings, which eventually takes a toll on a person. Okay, because you may not be having food, you have disturbed sleep, you're not well rested. Okay, so burnout phenomena, to be very frank, can be quite high in India. But
Yeah.
identification of you getting burnt out also is quite low in India. Okay, regarding competency of Indian doctors, I don't have to tell.
Hmm.
It is known worldwide that Indian doctors are competent. Okay, and given at any level, I'll put it this way that the work pressure, okay, the work pressure, the kind of work environment that we see is not available for everybody in every part of the world like that.
Got it, got it. So let me put it this way: the initial part of your career after your MD, better to work in India and
Mm.
get exposed to skills and then move to some other country. That is better, right?
See, definitely yes, definitely yes. See, once you get your degree, uh, it depends on the center you choose to work in. It depends on how interested you are in improving your skills. See, you have to gain knowledge. That's the most important thing about your PG life. Yes, as you gain your knowledge, you need to sort of, let's say, your PG is the bedrock
Hmm.
upon which your rest of the knowledge has to be built upon.
Hmm.
Okay, that's your absolute basic, your PG. Then if you do specialization, super specialization for that matter, Okay, it's slowly that you're slowly building upon what was your bedrock,
Mm.
right? So in India, it gives you a perfect chance to actually understand how you have to approach a patient, how you go about looking at a patient, and what needs to be done.
Mm.
But the drawback in India is that you're limited by your resources. You're limited by the finances. Let's say if you're in your public sector, you're limited by the financial options or the facilities that are provided by the center. And in the private sector, you're limited financially. That means financially, what I mean to say is by the finance of the patient,
Yeah,
be it insurance or non-insurance patients.
that's
Okay.
true. That's true.
For example, see, we give IVIG
Mm.
over here.
Mm.
In case over here, there are some cases where I see irretractable seizures.
Mm.
Okay, so patient is on 4, 5 anti-epileptics. Okay,
Sedation and
and we
propofol.
start the patient on IVIG also if required
Oh,
at a drop of a hat. You understood? It's like giving paracetamol in India. You decide that way. Okay,
okay.
since these are not working, we'll try IVIG that way. Okay, and so that way you look at the limits to which you can actually treat a patient. Because in Kuwait, in the center that I'm working, it's or rather IVIG. If you have to give it in India, you have to think a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's a financial strain on the patient. Okay, here we give colony stimulating factor injections like Neupogen and everything. Like as if we are generally giving it to a patient.
Mm.
Okay, so over here, if I have to give you an example, let's put it this way. We had a patient by name Kurban.
Mm.
Okay, this patient contracted COVID
Mm.
infection. He was initially intubated, then we put him on ECMO.
Mm.
First, we put on Avalon. Okay,
Mm.
Avalon is a dual lumen ECMO. Then we thought of weaning him off, during which time he developed cardiac tamponade, for which we had to. We initially tried this thing, the pericardial catheters, okay, to drain the pericardial effusion. Then once it was drained, then while weaning him off, we thought we'll wean him off, so we
Mm.
put him on ECOR.
No.
Okay. Then
What
after
is that?
putting him on ECOR, ECOR is CO2 removal. Again, extracorporeal CO2 removal cannula.
Okay. Mm.
Okay. So that way, we put him on ECOR. Then, while removing him while weaning him off ECOR, he suddenly developed seizures. So that is when we put him on a FEMJUG combination of ECMO.
Another
Okay.
type of
The
right?
femoral vein IJV combination of ECMO. So
Mm-hmm.
we ran this ECMO. He was there on ECMO for about 3 months, 3 to 4 months, during which time he again there was a cardiac tamponade which needed urgent evacuation. We had a cardiac surgeon on standby who did a bedside sternotomy, evacuated the the effusion and everything. Then he went on dialysis. We do a lot of CRRT.
Okay.
Okay, we use a lot of CRRTs. So that way, he was put on CRRT. He was on treatment on
In
ECMO,
India, we do
on
dialysis. So
ventilator for
CRRT is not
four
very
months.
common, no? In India,
No, see, in India, you do intermittent hemodialysis, you will do SLED. CRRT are done in some centers, but it's costly. Again,
okay.
cost factor comes into play. Now, this patient was there with us for about 4 months. Okay, same patient in India. You look at ECMO cost, you look at the ventilatory cost, you look at the intensive care cost, you look at the medication cost, you look at the other treatments like dialysis, sternotomy, or whatever that has been done. His cost would have come somewhere close to 4 to 4.5 crores.
Oh,
His bill would have come
impossible to for any person to pay that kind of a
to.
bill.
Okay, completely free. It was all completely free for him. Just think of, and he was a laborer by profession, mind you. Okay, he was an Indian laborer over here in Kuwait by profession, but his bill was his it was the treatment was free. Okay, in COVID, one of the
Why is
government
the
rules.
treatment free? Does everyone get free treatment there? Or what is the
No, it's
method?
okay. Not everybody gets a treatment free.
Mm.
It was ruled during the COVID time that anybody affected by COVID, the treatment would be free. Doesn't matter whether they're Kuwaitis or non-Kuwaitis or expats.
Okay, got it.
Okay, that way, the treatment was given to him for free. Otherwise, yes, there are some charges that they have to pay even while undergoing treatment in this thing. While undergoing treatment in even the government hospitals in Kuwait.
Got it.
Now, that way. So, when you, as a doctor, when I went over there, after looking at the cost constraints that I've seen in India, where uh, patient inaffordability, or since the patient can't afford a particular kind of treatment for the patient, how much we have to sort of, what to say, compromise on the treatment of the patient.
Yeah.
Okay. For want of a better word, I would say that. Okay. Is how you were tested. You are basically limited by your knowledge, imagination, and skill over here as far as the treatment of the patient is concerned. But in India, that way, on the flip side, if you look at it, we do so many things that are not even imaginable by medical care over here in Kuwait, because we have to be innovative
Mm.
in the way we think while treating the patient in India. We'll have to be quick on our feet.
Mm.
Okay, and skill wise, what I would say is that post your let's say you post your MD, when you're improving your skills and knowledge, try to improve it as much as possible. Be as much as hands on as possible.
Got it.
Okay, rather than be theoretical only or skill related only.
Got it.
Okay, so that given any one day, you will get to use it.
Yeah.
It's always better to have more arrows in your quiver or more bullets with you
Got
than
it.
just having a fancy gun to shoot with.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Better to learn
Okay.
many things.
Better to learn as many things as possible. And it's helped me over here
Got it.
that way. Mm.
So coming
So,
to till now we discussed about the health system differences and those things. So after MD anesthesia, can people directly come to your location, or how many years should they serve in India to reach your position there?
see, abroad, in any country, they look at your years of experience. Now, for example, in Kuwait, they look at your years of experience right from your internship.
Oh,
Okay. Even your PG is considered work experience because you're working with the patient that way. So let's say your internship year will be a first year of experience until the year you actually apply to them.
oh,
Okay. Now during this period, what the degrees that you earn matter. Okay. The kind of experience in the field that you've chosen matters. Okay. Uh, Please understand, online degrees are not considered anywhere. Online degrees are online degrees, end of the day. They are not considered experience, they are not considered degrees also, if you ask me. You have to be a full-time thing. If you are earning a degree by working full-time, is when that degree is considered.
okay, one question
Okay.
is there. Only there are some fellowships, for example, society gives a fellowship, like ISCCM gives a fellowship, IDCCM is
Mm.
there. So are they considered, like they're not registered in MCI, but there are societies giving you a fellowship?
See, society is giving you a fellowship just tells us that yes, he is trained in intensive care.
Hmm.
Okay. Let's say if there are certain degrees, let's say FICCM.
Hmm.
Okay. And in UK or Australia, those are more considered, or
Got it.
they add weightage. Whereas your ISCCM and IDCCM degrees, they just tell these countries that yes, this guy is undergone treatment in this particular field. It's not just intensive care. It may be any other society, any other department, be it OBG, be it medicine, be it cardiology, anywhere wherever society-related degrees are given. Okay, they just tell that okay, he's in this direction. He can be employed in this particular department. That is how it sort of directs you.
Hmm.
Okay. For example, keeping the IDCCM degree, I can tell that yes, I am more trained in intensive care. I am an intensivist. That
Okay.
sort of a thing. Okay.
Understood. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Regarding selection process or how you can apply, yes, there are some centers where you can apply as soon as you pass, but it all depends on their requirement. Okay, if they need you, then they will obviously call for interview. Either to see, normally all these countries, there are many doctors joining every year, many doctors leaving every year uh, from their ministries. So that way they run a continuous recruitment on a yearly basis, considering how many doctors they want. So when they recruit this way, okay, they will obviously advertise the departments that they need. You would have seen many such advertisements.
Mm.
Okay, so there are two ways they will recruit. One is yes from the this thing recruitment agencies, and very rarely direct recruitment.
Mm.
Okay, now, when you go through the recruitment agencies, you're called to a particular center where you're supposed to take a online interview. I mean, you're supposed to attend an online interview, and based on how you do your interview, they decide upon what level in which you enter. That is, whether they will take you in as a registrar, senior registrar, specialist, senior specialist, or a consultant. Based on that, they will decide. Okay, and based on what level or what position you're applying to.
Got it. What
Okay.
position specialist? No, usually that is what you will be eligible.
No, see, if let us say if you're a MD just passed, you just passed MD, okay? It all depends on how well you've done in an interview and what position you're applying for. So you can enter at a position of, let's say, registrar also, okay, to a position of consultant also based on their requirement. So when you're giving the interview, obviously there'll be either two or three or five people that they will be there. Let's say at the consultant level, if they're taking you in, there will be five different individuals will be taking your interview through a online interview. If not for a registrar level, even two members may be there, depending on which department you're applying to. Okay, so that way, some people have a single tier system, some people have dual tier system, some people have three-tier system through which they will vet the person as to whom they have to take. Whereas if it is, let's say, a direct recruitment, then if your details are available with the particular ministry, they'll directly call you from the ministry, arrange for an interview, and then they will, if they're satisfied with your credentials as well as your interview, then they will take you up directly.
So
So
agencies,
I would.
any
Hmm.
agency contacts because many people actually some fraud agencies are running a lot of these things in India.
True, true, true.
So some
Hmm.
reliable agencies, if you can give me, not tell directly here, I will pass on to my subscribers. We have a separate WhatsApp channel. I can put it there.
See, reliable agencies are the kind of agencies which will not ask money from you. Okay.
Okay.
Any agencies that they ask for money from your side to get you the job are not reliable agencies.
Oh, simple
Okay.
test. Okay. Simple test.
Simple. Simple. Okay. That's point one.
Mm.
Point two is that, see, any of these agencies obviously will not give you the job or promise you the job without interview. Now, for some of the countries in Middle East, you have to must and should write the exam. Uh, some of the countries you have to must and should, or rather, all the countries must and should interview is a must. Nobody will give you a job without interview.
Got it.
Okay. So when you're interviewing the person will introduce themselves with their credentials and everything. Okay. And even if the offer letter is given, it will be given in official basis, which you can cross verify through your various network of people that you might know.
Okay.
Okay, and that way we are interconnected to each other either directly or indirectly.
Got it.
Okay, so there are some two three agencies which regularly send out, like for example nowadays it's Oman that is recruiting. There
Mm.
is Saudi Arabia that is recruiting.
Mm.
Kuwait, very rarely they recruit. Okay,
Mm.
but mostly in GCC countries the number of Indian doctors are quite high.
Mm.
Okay, or rather the highest compared
Mm.
to other countries. Okay, that way. So my suggestion to you is that when you're going through an agencies, they will not ask you for any money. They will arrange it. because whatever financial aspects are there will be taken over by the respective country's ministry. Will have a tie-up with them through which they will manage the payment to the recruitment agencies. None of them will take it from you.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
that way you can be assured. Okay,
Got it.
and normally when a genuine recruitment agencies run a recruitment, they will call you to a particular center. There will be thing verification of the documents that you sent, and none of them will take your original documents. Mind you, never
Mm.
submit your original documents to any of these places.
Got it.
Have to submit your Xerox copies, keeping which they will run a basic verification initially. Then based on your department that is recruiting, you will go to those respective stations, do an online interview or else face-to-face interview, depending on who's come to take the interview with you. Following which, in the coming weeks or a couple of months, you will be notified regarding whether you've been selected or not selected. If you're not selected, no notification will come. If you're selected, then the agency will closely follow it up with you through email. Please keep everything official, okay, so that you know what you're doing and you have proof of everything that you're doing.
Got it. Got
Okay,
it. If any vacancy is there,
and please
you have to let us know
don't
because
lie on
because
the
many people
CV.
are there. Huh? At present, no
No,
vacancy.
please don't lie on your CV, because once you're tested in this, you're not only losing respect towards yourself, you're losing respect towards the country also. You're representing your country. Please
Got it.
remember that.
Got it. Got it. Got it. I understood. Understood. So, according to you, even after MD also, still they can try because all these days I was telling 3 years minimum they have to work here and all that. Maybe that is for some Dubai and Abu Dhabi, I think.
Uh, See, as I said, every this thing, let's say, every country has their own requirements. If they need you badly, if they want you to badly work with them, let's say in COVID time, there's a lot of requirement for doctors, nurses, and paramedical staff and everything. During which time, most likely, most of the countries skipped all this interview thing because they needed people. They needed to recruit the people on an emergency basis for their respective departments. That way.
Got
Okay.
it.
But let's say now post COVID, obviously they will run an interview, they will vet every person, see if the degrees are genuine, how good his knowledge is, and see how well he does in the interview and credentials everything, and then take up.
Got it. And so the last and most interesting part my audience want to know is the financial aspect. So we'll not talk about absolute numbers, but for example, X amount, roughly some X amount MD person is earning, for example, in Bangalore. Then if he applies and gets a job
Hmm.
in Kuwait, then how many multiples he
Hmm.
can expect or percentage or what is the thing?
Okay, see, let's say I'll put it this way. Let's take the pay as well as the life aspect of it. Okay, the
Okay.
financial as well as the living aspect of it.
Hmm.
Any country you're moving to from India, okay, the main important thing is food, stay, and food, stay, and your travel. These are the three main expenses that one has to keep an eye on.
Hmm.
Now, there are some countries, for example, like Maldives, where if you let's say if you join on November 18th, okay,
Hmm.
and if 26th is the payday, you get it immediately. Why? Because Maldives is a small country, the processing is faster, and the recruitment is of a very small number, okay, and so their personal processing is faster, and you get the salary within the same month you have joined. In some countries, because they're taking in so many doctors in, okay,
Hmm.
they want to thoroughly vet everybody and the paperwork needs to be done. It may take a few months before you get your salary, okay. So in these countries, how they overcome that is initially, let's say they pay you on a locum basis every month, the first, second, or third month, and then there'll be a few months gap where they may not pay you, and so you will have to manage your own finances. And once your paperwork is complete, they give you the pay that you were supposed to get in the previous months, which you may not have got, plus the current month's pay, and once you start getting pay into your bank account, let's say into your bank account, is how you go about. For example, let's say you go to a XYZ country.
Mm.
Okay. Once you go into that country, you start doing your visa work.
Mm.
Then you apply for like the other card of that country,
Mm.
or let's say in Kuwait we call it as a civil ID.
Civil
Okay,
ID.
you have to
Oh.
get your civil ID. Then you have to get your fingerprinting done. Okay, then you have to get your other paperwork done. Where, for example, got to get a Kuwait medical license to practice over here done.
Mm.
Okay, then you will have to get other paperwork done, subsequent paperwork done. That once you get all that, you get something called as a baratain. That is your final paper.
Mm.
Okay, following which you start getting salary. Okay, now it took me about close to 6 months to 11 months to get me for me to get my salary. Took
Mm.
close to 11 months, but slowly they are streamlining the system to make sure that within 3 months the people will get, or even lesser than that.
Good.
Okay, so that way. Why it took 11 months for me? Because it was a COVID time. Everything was busy. There were
Mm.
lockdowns over here also. Things were shut. Okay. But because the ministry was supporting the doctors, so initially residences were provided for a few weeks to a month by the ministry. Then I searched for my own residence, shifted over there, managed everything. And there's a good team in the hospital where I work with. Okay. And because of that, it helped a lot. So not just the country, the team with whom you work with also matters a lot.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Got it.
So that way. Hmm. So my suggestion is, if you're going to any foreign country, please make sure that you take in enough money, okay, for your expenditures, or make enough arrangements in such a way that at least enough in the beginning, at least for a few months, you can manage your finances,
Okay.
okay, along with food and travel.
Got it. Got it.
That way.
So at least
Hmm.
3 4 months. So you should have an emergency fund. And
Yeah, yeah. You have to have some cushion, okay. Whether the particular country provides you payment or no, it's always better to be on the safer side. That way.
got it. Got it. Got it. So nice. Nice. Nice.
Hmm.
So anything?
Okay.
Yeah. You're a.
See, my thing is, moving from one country to another is a very difficult choice to make.
Mm.
Financially, if you're telling me that yes, you're going to get better pay, yes, in some areas you're definitely going to get a better pay than what you were getting in India.
Mm.
You will be doing half the work and getting double the pay in some cases. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
So financially, that is one plus, one of the plus points. Second plus point I would say is, you don't have the income tax, the kind of income tax you have in India. You're tax free. So basically, 30% of your money that was getting cut, okay, is actually getting saved.
Mm.
Okay, let us say if you're earning 1 lakh and
Mm.
30,000 was getting cut from your salary
Mm.
on a monthly basis, you save that 30,000. Let's say if your salary was 4.5 lakhs, but
Mm.
you used to get on hand only 3 lakhs. Why?
Mm.
Because 1.5 lakhs would go in various taxes and everything. You're
Correct.
getting the entire 4.5 lakhs. Okay.
Yeah.
So that 1.5 lakhs is a big chunk that
Yeah.
is getting saved,
Yes.
which can be utilized for whatever be your purposes, and it is never taxed.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Okay. Financially, it really sounds very good. The other advantage, what I would say, is that because you have fixed working hours, let's say from 7 to 2 o'clock, you can actually concentrate on your academic achievements.
Mm. Good.
By academic achievements, what I mean is, if you want to write exams, you're applying to write EDIC, EDAIC,
Mm.
or your FCAI, FRCA,
Mm.
or whichever, you can actually get time to study,
Mm.
okay, for these exams. More importantly, you have time to give your family the time they need. Okay,
Good.
that would have been actually previously not possible in India. See,
Good. Good. Good.
coming from anesthesia background, we know as anesthesiologists we run around 3 to 4 centers if you're practicing privately, which does not give you any time. It does not give you any peace of mind, and
Mm.
you have to. It is like being on call 24 bar 7. Okay.
Correct. Correct.
And if you work in a corporate setup, Of course, the work pressures will always be there. You're supposed to work up to 4 o'clock, but invariably, almost every day, you end up working till 6,
37.
6:30.
Yeah, 6:30.
Okay. Uh, okay. So by the time you're back home, you're tired. You can't give that kind of quality time to your children, for your wife, for your parents, and so personally, you may suffer more compared to professionally.
Correct, correct.
Okay. But over here, that work-life balance is more balanced comparatively.
Yeah.
Okay. Coming to the food aspect of it or the culture aspect of it, yes, we since we are coming into this country, we have to adapt to the current culture. However the culture is, whichever country, be it UK, Australia, or the Gulf countries. Okay. But doesn't mean that we lose what we have inside. You understood?
But for
So
non-vegetarians, it
that
will be
way,
okay.
vegetarians suffer more because there are very less vegetarian options.
Non-veg
Non-vegetarians, yes,
will enjoy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely. The Kuwaiti cuisine is huge, mind you, and they never eat small portions.
Yeah.
It is like that. But yes, in certain aspects, definitely you will miss your home. That is your home country. Certain aspects you will miss your home country. But what I would say is that the experience you get over here is a different thing in itself.
Hmm.
As I said, professionally you will be more rounded if you come over here because after practicing in India, my suggestion is yes, you need to work in India for some time
Hmm.
so that you gain the kind of experience that you get in India is one of a kind. Mind you, it's just one of a kind. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not boasting when I tell that Indian doctors are really good. Okay,
In fact,
because we are stronger in clinical aspect. Okay, we are stronger in handling any sort of an emergencies or a stressful situation.
hmm.
Better compared to most other countries. Okay,
Hmm.
I'm not telling there are no good doctors in other countries. There are very good doctors from other countries also. Okay, but if you look at a huge population on a generalized basis,
Hmm.
we tend to do much better compared to other countries. That is how I'm going to put it across.
Got it.
Okay,
Got it.
so that way. mm,
But
So the program over here, the education program over here is different.
so in let us
Slightly different
talk
compared to
about super specialty ICUs, for example, neuro ICU, cardiac ICU,
mm,
and those DMs are coming up
mm.
now. So what about them?
Yeah, yeah.
Do they have any scope actually? Neuro intensive care is a separate fellowship training actually. Even I am planning to start in next year. So what kind of scope they will have in your place?
See, the scope is good, but unfortunately, there are very few centers in India that are known in the world. So
Hmm.
if you come from one of those centers, yes, they know that okay, the training is pretty good.
Hmm.
Okay, but if you let's say you've done DM, neuro intensive. Let's say you've done DM or DNB neuro intensive care,
Hmm.
and you've come in this field, but we don't know how good your training is. This is how a general perception of a person is.
Got it.
Okay, and you will start from a from a lower rung because they don't know this. Okay, and so basically you will be underutilized in most of the centers. That way, there are few centers where you can actually flaunt the kind of work or knowledge you have. I'm not telling to be boastful. I'm just trying to tell that yes, you need to. There are very few centers that will take you up to your limits that way. So
So
when you're negotiating, hmm,
better to be in a
tell
general
me this.
critical care or to specialize in a niche critical care is the like final question. If they plan to Middle East country.
See, okay. If you're telling it that way, let's say if you are a generalized critical care person, let's say like me, I'm a generalized critical care intensivist. So in that way, there's not much of a difference, but yes, you have an edge over others when it comes to your niche where you're trained in. Okay. Whereas in European countries, let's say if you are niche, let's say you're trained in neuro-intensive care or cardio-intensive care or a pediatric intensive, I mean niche intensive care, that time they will put you in those centers. For example, over here in Kuwait, we have a neuro center, like how you have Nimans over there. We
mm,
have over here, how you have Jayadeva over there, we have a corresponding hospital over here. So in those centers, they will take you up if you're a niche person. But your pay will not change much
mm,
because the pay is fixed based on what level you're entering in. For example, if you are entering in the at registrar level or a senior registrar level or a specialist level, the even if you are specialized, your pay is fixed based on the experience you're having, the kind of recognized degrees that you're having, depending on the country you're applying to. For example, if you have FRCA, if you have EDIC, EDIC,
mm.
or you're a person from FCIM, okay, if you've done FFCIM, so these things matter a lot. Okay. And as far as work experience is concerned, let's say if you're a person who has got a 2 year work experience in UK, of course you'll be more preferred. Though you're an Indian, but you're working in UK, and from UK you're coming to Kuwait, you'll be more preferred because you know the standard of treatment in UK. Okay, and UK recognizes UK's standard of treatment,
Mm.
whereas India's standard of treatment is not yet fully recognized.
Got it.
Okay, and so that is the reason why there will be variations in the pay that you might see. Let's say a DM candidate or a MCH candidate from India may get X salary from if he's coming from with only Indian experience. Whereas same Indian with same MCH degree in India, if he comes with a 2 year or a 4 year foreign experience, let's say European experience or a UK experience or Austrian experience, his pay will definitely be much better compared to what is there of the same person having the same degree, having the same number of years of experience in India, having only Indian experience.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So better to go
Okay,
abroad for one,
like
two
that.
years.
That's how
Yeah.
uh, it depends. See, uh, that's what I'm telling. It depends from center to center. I'm not talking that Kuwait is this way or Dubai is this way or anything. It generally this is how they look at it.
Got it.
Okay, because let's say now we have a national accreditation process going on in India. So
Mm,
that time the standard for India, Indian medical standards will be set. So that it was varying from center to center,
mm,
training centers to training centers. You have JCI accreditation.
mm,
So let's say in your CV you put I'm coming from a center with JCI accreditation.
mm.
Okay, so that time they have a certain okay, they know what JCA accreditation is and how tough it is to get that accreditation, and so they know the kind of doctor they're dealing with, the quality of doctor they're dealing with.
Okay.
That
Okay.
way.
So you're saying that when a student is selecting the hospital, better to see with NABH or JCI, what accreditation is there? If it is JCI, then his chances of getting a
So
better.
see, JCA, no, what I'm trying to say is both have equal opportunities
Mm,
of getting the job. Okay, it is not like JCA is preferred or NABH is preferred.
mm.
It all depends on the person how well they are in their profession. Okay,
Okay, fine.
how well they do their in their interview, how good they are in negotiating.
Mm.
For example, when you're negotiating for a job, my suggestion is negotiate for the position rather than the salary. Okay, because the salary part, if the salary, see, the recruitment agencies are supposed to get a certain kind of salary. Okay, they are given a certain bracket during within which they are supposed to give you the salary. But if the ministry wills it, let's say once you come over here, let's say you passed EDIC but you don't have your EDIC
Mm,
certificate,
mm.
okay, and let's say during the interview you did not have your EDIC certificate, so that's the reason why you did not submit it during the interview. But you come to the ministry over here where your originals are vetted,
Mm,
okay, during which time you submit your EDIC,
mm,
let's say your EDIC certificate. That time your this thing can get revised. Your salary can get revised
mm.
to a better pay compared to what it was. So your years of experience, the degrees that you have, also matters in you getting the kind of salary you want to get.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay. Got it, got it, got it. So then anything else you would like to say? What about the quality of life and weather and those things?
Weather over here. As in any other Gulf country, the weather either it is really hot or really cold. Now, for example, for now in November, the weather is pleasant comparatively. But we've seen a weather where the heat has gone up to 50 to 55 degrees at its heights.
Okay.
And in the winter, we've seen the go up to -1 to even -5 degrees also. Okay. It'll be a dry
55
cold.
is very high.
But
55.
one 55, yeah. But over here, what you have to understand is since you're working inside the hospital, the air condition is too good. You
Okay.
will never even think that outside, just outside the building, the temperature is 55 degrees, as high as 55 degrees. Over here, one of the basic requirements is having an AC in the house that you're
Yeah.
staying in. That way.
So,
Okay.
in
But
about
see,
kids education
hmm,
and those aspects, how are the schools and those facilities?
see, kids' education, my suggestion is first, whoever gets the job, the husband or the wife, they come, they establish themselves, and make sure your spouse also gets a job if they're planning to work, or if they're going to be housewives or managing they manage to take care of the kids like that. So you get your paperwork done, but at the same time you look for schools. Now here there are CBSE affiliated schools. There are schools with international syllabus. Multiple schools are there where you can get an admission.
Okay.
And since they know that there are a lot of expats, a lot of Indians coming in between the education year, so they will be more than willing to take in the kids at whatever class they are in. Okay. Uh, Basically, the fees over here is such that you can manage it. That
Okay.
way, it should be okay.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Okay. But my suggestion is once you settle down, the basic things you have to settle down once you come over here. If you have to get your family in this, the place you stay, you do your research for the schools, see which schools are willing to take your children. You will have to go meet up with the principals of the respective schools wherever you're trying to admit your kids, see how best you can arrange it, and basic paperwork that should be done, and basic homework that you want to do. Let's say loading up the kitchen the way you want it to. Of course, your wife will not agree completely. She will want a few of the shopping that needs to be done. So when you get your family, it's better for you to have some savings in the local currency so that whatever shopping that needs to be done after you get the family over here also can be done. Okay. For
Got it.
example, let's say clothes over here in Kuwait are good, but if you work it out in Indian currency, it may sound costlier. But once you start working over here, it will seem like okay, it's normal, it's fine, it's manageable that way.
But the quality
Okay.
will be good, I think, no?
For example, yeah, quality will be good. In Kuwait, my suggestion is that Kuwait is very good
Hmm.
for saving money. Okay,
Hmm.
as in let's say Dubai, its cost of living is very high
Hmm.
in Dubai. Okay, in Abu Dhabi or anywhere else, there may be some restrictions and everything. But in Kuwait, if you want to save money, you can save money. For here, there are many malls if you want. Skydiving has been recently introduced in Kuwait.
So,
Okay.
have you done it or going
No, no,
planning?
I'm planning to do it, but I have not done it.
Okay.
Okay. So there are many restaurants and everything, but if you're looking at something like Disney parks or something like those kind of things are not there.
Okay.
Okay. But general things are there, and it tends to be within your limits. I mean, within your financial limits. That way. But in Kuwait, I can definitely say you can end up saving a lot more money compared to other GCC countries. Okay.
So, Dubai is a free country, just like any other Western country it has become.
It's
Kuwait is,
more metropolitan.
hmm. Even
In
Kuwait,
Dubai, you can own property.
yeah,
You can literally own properties in Dubai. You
hmm.
can buy a house in Dubai.
Correct. And what about Kuwait?
That is not possible in other GCC countries. No, no. In Kuwait, you'll usually take a house on rent
Hmm.
because if you're thinking, let's say, if they are businessmen who are thinking of starting a business or anything, over here the rules are such that 51% will be locally owned and 49% will be yours.
Okay.
So that way, there are many Indian businesses that are running over here, especially restaurants.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay.
And to be very frank, see, when we say expats in foreign country, we think that people from Kerala are the only people who are in highest number. But in Kuwait, if you see, there are more people from Telangana and Andhra Pradesh compared to Kerala.
It will be easy
Okay,
for me, I think,
that's
if you
it.
come.
Yeah, I am told that there's a place in Andhra Pradesh where that place is called Little Kuwait also. There are that many people from there in Kuwait. Seriously, I'm not joking. Okay. They, see, from all over India, there are people over here, but most of the people are from Andhra, Telangana, Kerala. Then in Karnataka, mostly from Mangalore. Okay.
Okay.
Mumbai, there are many people from Mumbai. A few from Bangladesh. Sorry, Bengal also.
No,
Like
usually
that.
it happens like that. One person goes, he'll take one of his friend, he'll take one of his friend. So that particular area will end up relocating. So, usually,
True, 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 true. No, the other thing is, see, you get to interact with, let's say, I work with a team where the Egyptian doctors were really good. I have
hmm,
worked with Pakistani doctors. Then I have a Yemeni doctor. There's a Yemeni doctor who's my head of the department. Okay. Then
okay,
you deal with the local Kuwaiti doctors who are really good, and they're accommodative. The best part is they're accommodative. They're cohesive. Okay.
okay,
So how well you adjust with your local environment and your team matters a lot,
okay,
because if you work as a team, that is when you can actually will be willing to stay in the country, whichever country it is. I have friends who went to UK, and because they couldn't find a vegetarian diet, they came back to
okay,
India. Okay. Then there were some people who went abroad and they found the department was incompatible to them and they came back and all that. But these can happen anywhere, even within India also.
got it.
Okay, where you may not adjust to your team, or you're not comfortable with the place you're working, and that's why you've changed your job. So my suggestion is you go with an open mind, see how the local culture is, local treatment conditions are, and everything. For example, let's say in India we see a lot of sepsis cases, right? In Kuwait, you deal with a lot of genetic as well as autoimmune disorders compared to sepsis. There's a
Oh,
good number of autoimmune and genetic disorders
got it.
that way. So the kind of exposure you get will be much different compared to India. So you will actually gain a lot
Knowledge.
over here that way. Yeah, yeah. As I told you,
Now
uh,
you
this
work
is the
there.
first time I'm.
Yeah. Now you work there.
No, this is
Yeah, please. Sorry.
sorry, sorry. So since this is the first time I'm working in a state-sponsored treatment.
Hmm,
Okay, by state-sponsored I mean government-sponsored treatment.
hmm,
I have been able to understand to what extent you can go ahead, or rather think of, as a doctor, as far as treatment is concerned.
correct.
Okay, you are pushed to your limits to see what you can do over here. Since everything's been provided,
Got it.
as I told you earlier, you're
There are
only limited by your skill, imagination, and knowledge.
got it.
Okay, so that way.
Understood. So basically,
Yeah,
here we deal more number of patients, but there you deal less number of patients, but any extent you can go to deal them.
yeah, yeah.
Got it.
True, true.
Now, so many departments are there in the hospital where you're working. Where do you feel scarcity is there? Like
Mm.
for Indian doctors, like which specialties you feel are like in demand?
See, to be very frank, scarcity is there in almost every department. Okay, almost every department, because see, the main aim of the ministry in any country is to get the best doctors for their
Hmm,
citizens as much as possible.
hmm,
Okay, so every year there are many doctors who are joining from various countries, many doctors from various countries that are leaving.
hmm.
Okay, but the evergreen departments will be surgery, anesthesia. Okay, surgery, anesthesia, your pediatrics,
Hmm.
OBG. These are the evergreen departments where people keep joining and as well as leaving.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, that way.
Then my subscribers have a good
So,
chance actually. Hmm.
uh, what are the questions?
No, no, the questions.
Any other?
No,
I'll clear that up.
you cleared almost all the
Uh,
questions. No, I just told that. So these are the specialities they should be entering: the surgery,
uh,
anesthesia, pediatrics, medicine. What about family
for
medicine,
example,
pulmonology? Do they have a chance there? Like,
yes, family medicine, pulmonology, interventional radiology. Okay,
mm,
they are in need of radiologists. Even if I have to go to tell that anesthesia technicians, they
okay,
need a hell of a lot of nurses also. Okay, that way. So the need is always there. Okay, in various departments. I can't tell you that this is the department there is need or that is the department there. There is need in any department you can think of. Okay, but as I told you, it all matters as to how badly they want.
got it.
For example, what I feel is when you join the particular country, whichever country. For example, I've joined Kuwait.
Mm,
Okay, I make an effort to learn Arabic
mm,
so that my communication with the patient is much more clearer
mm.
and straightforward that way.
Oh,
So
super.
you'll have to sort of,
Mm,
uh, so you'll have to sort of step up or level up
got
that
it.
way.
So now you can talk Arabic. At least you can
Uh,
manage Arabic. No, that
to a certain extent,
to
yes.
a certain
To a
extent.
certain extent,
Super.
I feel that way. That way, Indians are at an advantage because every state speaks a different language.
Mm.
So no matter what, any Indian for that matter speaks at least 3 to 4 languages on an average.
Yeah,
So learning a new language should not be very difficult.
got it, got
Okay,
it,
if they put their hearts to it.
got it.
Uh, that way. Hmm.
Okay, I think that's it, Ravish. Anything else you want to tell? A lot of intensivists are there in the channel, so that is why they would be interested in this. And in detail, we discussed, I think, all the aspects. Anything else you feel you should tell them?
Huh. See, few things. What I would say is on a more lighter note.
Mm,
Let's say petrol. Okay,
mm. Calm.
petrol over there in India is 100 rupees plus.
Yeah.
But if you look at it with the Indian rupee equivalent in Kuwait, it costs you about 26 rupees.
Oh, cheaper.
Okay, very cheap. Okay. Normally, okay, if you come to any GCC country, my suggestion is initially, uh, first important thing is your interview. How well you do your interview,
Mm,
your degrees, your experience.
mm,
Okay, three aspects will help you in negotiating for a better salary or a better position, whatever you're looking at.
mm,
Then be it in any field, not just intensive care, in any field. Okay, after you come over there, a couple of months you have to manage your finances, stay and everything, adjust to whatever the work life and thing balances. After which, once you start getting a regular salary, think about getting your family in, getting your children into school and everything. Do your homework before you're coming in. Then, following which, I would say that okay, uh, I've heard of a person say that if you're a salaried person, you're one step away from poverty.
mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my suggestion is if you're coming into Gulf countries, yes, the main attraction towards it is the financial aspect,
Mm,
correct? So if you're coming in to the Gulf countries, my suggestion is don't just save.
mm,
Okay, try to invest in something wherein which you can create a second source of income.
mm,
Okay, with that aim, come to a Gulf country. Okay, don't just come because there's a bigger salary, better life, better work-life balance. Also, what you have to plan for is maybe even 10, 20 years into the future as to how you want to be at that time. Okay, so
got
as
it.
a doctor, even within India, also they would suggest. But even I'm saying that if you're coming over here, your chance of creating a secondary source of income are much better compared to when you're back in India.
Got
Okay,
it.
this I would say with confidence.
Got it.
Okay, so you can save a lot. You can let's say some people will come with idea of building a house,
Mm.
creating a second source of income is a must and should in such a way.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
so that way.
So thank you very much, Ravish. And so it will benefit a lot of people who really want to come to Kuwait. And
Thank you.
we should
Thank you
meet
Vivek,
again
for
at least
having me.
sometime in future. when you come back.
Sure, sure, sure. We'll meet up. We'll have a table tennis tournament
Yeah, we'll have a
among
tournament.
ourselves.
You
Yeah.
organize and provide. I'll come there and we'll
Sure,